Welcome back to Oral Communication in Context. Our topic for today is about the models of communication. This is for Quarter 1, Week 2, Module 2. The most essential learning competency for this lesson is to differentiate the various models of communication. For the specific objectives, we have the following. 1. To differentiate the various models of communication. 2. To explain the process of communication through the elements involved. And number 3. To recognize the importance of models in understanding the communication process as applied in everyday life. Alright, let's start with the pre-test. Read each item carefully, then choose the letter that corresponds to your answer. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. Number 1. Which model shows a one-way communication where the source of information does not know whether the message is understood or not? A. Interactive, B. Linear, C. Transactional model, D. A and B. Number 2. Which of the following is an example of a one-way communication? A. A church leader giving a homily to a crowd of people. B. A teacher encouraging students to give their thoughts on a relevant issue. C. Classmates talking about how to accomplish their assignments. And letter D. All of the above. Number 3. Which model of communication shows the interchange of ideas among different individuals and shows progress in the process? A. Interactive, B. Linear, C. Transactional, D. None of the above. Number 4. Angie works for a fast food company as a cashier. A customer comes in to order sandwich and drinks. What model of communication is described in the given situation? A. Conversational approach. B. Interactive. C. Linear. D. Transactional. Number 5. Which of the following elements affects the flow of any communication process? A. Barrier. B. Channel. C. Feedback. D. Source. Have you got perfect scores? Great! Now we can proceed to the next activity. Imagine your life in the world you live in without proper communication procedure. Would there be peace and order or chaos? Would there be understanding or misunderstanding? In the previous lesson, we discussed the nature of communication as a process. It plays a crucial role in human life. It provides an avenue for people to express their ideas, thoughts, feelings, and insights. Without it, societies will be restrained from developing and progressing. Linear communication is the first model of communication. It is a one-way process focusing on the transmission of a message to a receiver who never responds or has no way of responding to the information conveyed. Example, a competition organizer is presenting the contest mechanics. In this situation, the crowd or the participants are not allowed to respond. The message in linear communication is final and cannot be contended at all. Another example is the President's SONA, or the State of the Nation address. Other examples of linear communication is telling a story. It can be a teacher telling a story or a student who is reciting a poem. Try to remember that Shannon-Weaver model 1949 is an example of linear type of communication. It is also considered as the mother of all communication models. Let's study closely the Shannon-Weaver model of communication. It has a one-way process starting from a source or the producer of message, passing through a channel or signals adapted for transmission, which may at times be interrupted by noise, the barrier, to a receiver or decoder of message from the signal. The process stops after the message has arrived at its destination or has arrived at its destination. The second communication model is interactive. It is a two-way communication process where a response is given after a message is sent. The recipient of the action intentionally or unintentionally gives a feedback associated with the information received.
Mommy, I can smell the aroma of your best delicacy adobo.
Yeah, I know. It is the favorite of the family, so adobo is what I prepared today.
I can't wait to taste it.
Take a look at this model.
Scram model. Scram from 1954 visualized the process of communication as an exchange of thoughts and ideas. Feedback was added to the Shannon-Weaver model. Let us remember encoding and decoding. Encoding is when an idea or information is translated into words and expressed to others. Decoding is when this idea or information is understood and interpreted by the receiver. Scram model. Hence, the receiver must be able to send feedback to the sender in order to complete the process. Otherwise, the communication transaction fails. Scram's model is a two-way communication model. The process goes on starting from the sender or source, who encodes the message transmitted to the receiver, which he interprets, decodes a message feedback to be sent back to the source, who in turn decodes and interprets the information sent. The third model is called a transactional communication model. Transactional communication model. It shows a circular process of interaction between the persons involved in the communication, with each one actively participating and sharing ideas with one another. Here, feedback is given freely and deliberately to one another or to all members participating in the communication transaction. Communication is deemed dynamic and progressive. The topic may also change from time to time.
We finally learned the three communication models: the linear model, interactive, and transactional model. To assess your understanding about the three communication models, answer the post test. Write your answer in a separate sheet of paper with letter T if the statement is true, and write F if it is false. The answers for the post test. Check your work if you got the perfect scores. Do you get perfect scores? Great! Congratulations! Now we can proceed to our next lesson.